came to Atlanta.
Got you. What was your thoughts about Atlanta? Why Atlanta? Like, why would you want to
I kept
come
having
there?
dreams. This no cap. I kept having dreams, and I was doing like I was performing, and I now mind you, I hadn't even had a song released. I hadn't even been to the studio for real, and um, I just felt like God was saying, "Hey, go, like go. You need to go to Atlanta, go to Atlanta." Now mind you, I don't know anybody in Atlanta. I don't know where the storyline on this is, but my homeboy was like, Toya, he was like, Toya, you need to take this serious. You need to take this serious. He was like, I'm gonna go to the studio with you. Now, mind you, the studio is an hour away, an hour 30 minutes away from my hometown. Like this is the only like the only like real studio around. And he goes to the studio with me. I do like an 8 hour block. He goes to the studio with me, and I just feel safe, because when studios and stuff like that, there are situations where it's a lot of guys there, and
Hmm.
sometimes you just don't feel as safe, or
Yeah.
you don't know it's your first time. So I felt really safe having him there, and the session was dope. And I had already had everything written by the time I went there, because I was like, okay, well, let me just try to knock out some songs, and then it's been up ever since.
Wow. That's
Mhm.
amazing. And you started off Christian rap from the jump, or was
Yeah,
it?
like, yeah, I started off Christian rap from the jump, and let me tell you how the devil will use you to try to disqualify yourself. Like I started off as like Christian rap. I love God
Yeah.
my whole life. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
I've always been on this path, and the enemy was like, man, you don't even got no testimony for real. Like you ain't sell drugs, you ain't do this, you ain't doing that. Like how can he use you? You know what I'm saying? And I was just like, man, like I ain't got no story like everybody else got. But then I was like, nah, your story is stay close to God. He gonna always take care of you. Like
Mm.
everybody don't have to struggle like with different things. Like just because it's not a struggle contest. You feel me?
Yeah.
It's not
Yeah.
that. And God just was like, yo, I gave you have joy, and people
Mm.
have joy. Let that be the thing that carries you and your music. Like you have joy. So that was good.
Wow.
Yeah. Cause
That's
you know
yeah.
how it is. I'm like, I ain't do that either. So, but I'm
Yeah.
still chosen. I'm still set apart. You feel me? Like I had to talk to myself and let myself know that.
Did you feel like okay, so what you just said reminded me of the rapper The Truth, when he had a song back in the day where he talked about his testimony. He was like, I don't have a horror story, you know what I mean? And like,
Right.
do you feel like that was even harder for you not having that type of story even as a female rapper?
You know what? It's just the enemy. No, nobody is asking me to have that story.
Yeah,
I'm just
yeah.
looking at everybody else's story and being like, dang, like, yeah, but nah.
Well, here's the question. I think the question is, what is stories that do you feel like Christian rap at times does a disservice for people kind of like yourself, where it's like, because you go into I'm sure you've been on shows with other people, and you in the audience watching them perform, and they go, yeah, man, I was selling drugs, I was doing this, or young lady, I was at the strip club, or this or that, and you get up and go, God be the glory. That ain't my story, but he's still using me. You know what I mean? Does you think sometimes Christian rap gets people that like artists that like, man, I gotta have a horror story to be used by God?
I don't think they all have to, but that was just that might have just been their experience. And I just know for me, like mine is just, share the love of God. Share the
Yeah,
love of God. And people need to know Jesus love them. And I just like them to know that. You know what I'm saying? And that's just kind of the way I came at it. And at the end of the day, it's all mental. Like nobody asked. Nobody said that had to be my story or I had to have a horror story. It's just, you look, and that's why you don't compare your stories, or you don't look at, the things that other people have going on. You just kind of focus on what God has for you, because it's just a distraction. Like,
yeah,
no, I have the people that I'm supposed to touch. They have the people they're supposed to, and everybody's touching who they're supposed to touch.
yeah,
No.
yeah. And I think when people start realizing that, it's almost even like tribes. Like once you have your tribe and you feed your tribe, and it's like my tribe, like me, just being joyful, being honest, being where I am. You know what I mean? And they rock with me, and I rock with them. And the funny part is, at times when your tribe continues to get bigger and bigger, that's what they love from you, your authenticity, like just you know what I mean? And I think whatever you're going through at the time, you know, your story is your story, and nobody can take that from you and everything. So, you know what
And
I
I
mean?
think mental health is a thing. Like I think maybe it was more like mental health stuff, like confidence, like because
Yeah,
it's culture versus culture versus what we have going on here in the Christian world and how we like carry ourselves different. And those were the type of challenges that I had. Those things that I talk about in my music. It might have not been outwardly things, but just more inward struggles. I think that's probably where the majority of my struggles and the things that the challenges that I had came from, just like inner workings of myself.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Do what was it like coming into? Did you know this was a thing? Did you know Christian hip hop was like a community, not well, culture, or even like an industry? Did you know that, or did you just
Of
like, hey, I'm
course
just doing
I knew
Christian rap?
that, because the first event I ever went to, I had my mother drive me to Tripoli's listening party. It was in
Okay,
Atlanta. I have the book at my house. It's the album where Manolo was on it.
okay,
You know what
okay.
I'm talking
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
about? And she took me all the way from South Carolina to see that, and Trip saw my book. So I always knew about Christian hip hop. I've been a Cray fan forever. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
Like, yeah, like I knew about Christian hip hop for a while. I'll probably say I can't say how long, but yeah, I did
yeah.
know.
I think the reason I ask that because so many people just know Lecrae.
Oh
So
yeah,
many people, yeah, some people like, yo, just Lecrae, and you know that's who I knew. But when I got into it, I started seeing other people, and I started meeting other, you know what I'm saying, and stuff of that
yeah.
nature. So like, I didn't know if that was your story, like people, because a lot of people don't know this exists. Honestly, they don't know.
Yeah, it's still
Like,
very underground. It's still very underground. Yeah, because people still don't know about the genre, so it's a
yeah,
lot of work to do. You got a lot of work to
yeah,
do.
yeah. How did that feel coming into this? And then did you connect with other female rappers at the same time, or was it like you had to like go to events and like, oh, she spit too. Let me connect with her, and you know what I
When
mean?
I did every show, I did so many free shows. I did show after show, weekend after weekend. I was outside, like I was really outside, and I don't really think it was other girls out here like that. Other than it was not a lot of us, because it was like, who did I meet? Yeah, I met a few women, but the landscape is mostly dominated by men here.
Yeah,
Dominated by men, but yeah, I did meet girls here, women that I'm really cool with still. Um, yeah, that was yeah, but the beginning of the journey just started off with doing shows and popping up every week, because I didn't know anybody, nobody knew me, so I had to like just be
yeah.
present, and submerge myself in the culture or immerse myself in the culture.
Is that something that you would tell like artists that are trying to break into the Christian hip hop space, like immerse yourself in it, get to know media, get to know other artists? Like, is that a advice that you would give them?
Yeah, I think so, but everybody might not have the opportunity. Everybody might not be able to. People might work a crazy schedule. Time might not permit, but you have to use whatever you can use to get yourself out there. Because they have social media. I feel like social media has just gotten even larger. And even if you had a job that you had to work every weekend, if you're present on social media, I think it'd be good. But you don't have to be outside every weekend. But yeah, I think at least at quarterly, you need to go to one thing and kind of see
Yeah,
what's going on.